Have you ever felt like you're just shouting into the void? You create content, you put it out there, and crickets. Well, today we're going to do something a little different. We've got a peek inside a content strategist's private notebook, and we're breaking down their personal playbook step by step to figure out how to make content that actually connects. So let's open it up.
This is it, right? The most frustrating question for anyone making stuff online. You pour hours into planning, filming, writing, all of it, only to be met with total silence. You're following all the rules, but nothing seems to stick. So what's the missing piece of the puzzle? Well, the answer might just be strategy. Real, honest-to-goodness strategy. And when you look at these handwritten notes, you can see a true strategist plan isn't about chasing the latest trend. It's about building a machine. This isn't just a random list of tips. It's a blueprint for building something that's meant to last. All right, so let's start right where the strategist does, with the foundation. Because before you even dream up your next video or post, you have to get these core rules locked in. This is the bedrock, and everything else gets built right on top of it. Now, this might look like a long list, but it really boils down to three main ideas. First up is identity. That's your clear branding and your super focused narrow niche. Second, you've got consistency, a regular schedule and a hook that people recognize instantly. And third, and this is huge, is discovery. That means having a plan driven by what people are actually searching for, SEO and keywords, not just whatever you feel like making. According to this playbook, these aren't just suggestions, they're non-negotiable. Okay, let's zoom in on that idea of a hook for a second, because the strategist has a whole note just for this. A perfect hook isn't just some catchy opening line, it's a formula. First, it has to promise value, what's in it for the viewer. Second, it needs clarity, what is this thing actually about? And third, it sets an expectation, what's the journey gonna look like? If you can nail that combo, you've already won the most important fight, the first 3 seconds. So, you've got your foundation set. Now it's time for the real magic. Look, anyone can just list off a bunch of facts, but a true strategist knows how to take that raw data and weave it into a story that people genuinely want to follow. And this is the exact question the strategist asks in their own notes. This is the pivot point. This is where you go from being an encyclopedia to being a real storyteller. Because think about it. Facts inform, sure, but stories are what connect with us, persuade us, and stick in our brains. The data gives you credibility, but the story, that gives you impact. And this little diagram just lays out the whole process beautifully. It's a funnel. You start at the top with story making. That's where you find the narrative hiding inside the data. Then you build that perfect hook we were just talking about. From there, you connect the story directly to your audience's biggest pain points. And only then, once you've made that connection, do you deliver the content, the data, because now it has context. So, here's the bottom line. Your job is not to be a list of facts. It's to build a world around those facts. The strategist is crystal clear on this. You have to target the specific problems your audience is dealing with, and then you show them how the data is the key. You don't just talk about it, you make them see it, feel it, and get why it matters to them. And this little insight kind of tucked away at the bottom of the page might be the secret sauce to the whole thing. Your content can't just be a flat line of information. It needs a real story arc. It needs a twist they didn't see coming, a turn that raises the stakes, and a climax that delivers that aha moment. That's what keeps people hooked all the way to the end. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Building this whole strategic machine sounds like a ton of work. And it can be, but the modern strategist has a whole arsenal of tools to make it way faster and way more effective. Let's get into the toolkit section of these notes. Whoa. Okay, this list is fascinating. It's not just random apps, it's a strategic arsenal. You can see tools for making visuals, right? Stuff like Sora and Runway ML for video. Then you've got your research and brainstorming engines like Perplexity and GPT to find those golden nuggets. And finally, you have automation tools like Make.com to tie it all together. The key takeaway here isn't to memorize every name, but to see how a strategist uses AI to speed up every single part of the process, from the first spark of an idea to the final product. And that brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole playbook. Why are we doing all of this? It's not for the views, it's not for the likes. It's about turning all this hard work into real, tangible results. This slide really nails the mindset shift. So many creators get stuck on the left side of this chart, right? They're just chasing attention with random content and celebrating those empty vanity metrics. The strategist? They live on the right side. Every single piece of content is part of a bigger plan, and it's all designed for one purpose: to build authority and generate actual leads for the business. And the path to get there is surprisingly direct, just like it's sketched out here. Strategic content brings in qualified leads. Those leads are then guided into a sales process, and that process leads to payments. It's a really simple 4-step flow that draws a straight line from your content calendar to your bank account.
And this right here, this is the final sentence from the first page of the notebook. It's the mission statement for this entire strategy. It's not about going viral. The real end goal is getting leads for the business and becoming a true authority in your space. Every single thing in this playbook, from that very first hook to the story you tell, is designed to serve those two goals.
So, as we close the book on this strategist's playbook, the last question isn't about what tool you should use or what your next hook should be. It's this: when you look at your goals, your data, and what your audience is struggling with, what's the one story that your business really needs to tell?